Hi there, students. A palimpsest. I've noticed some people also give the P palimpsest as well, you could say. Okay, a palimpsest is a document where the original document had something else written on it, and this has been rubbed off, and the parchment or the paper has been used again. Okay, in the old days, parchment was made from the skin of a lamb or a calf or a goat, and it was pretty expensive. So, in the interest of economy, what they very often used to do is when something went out of date, they'd rub it off or they'd scrape off what was written and they would write a new text with it. And palimpsests have given rise to us finding many books that we didn't actually know existed, or we didn't even have copies of them, because obviously the thing below is older, and to archaeologists that's very interesting, and you will find palimpsests in museums and things like that. Okay, but that itself is a very technical word. But you can also use a palimpsest to talk about architecture, for example. A building could be described as a palimpsest of the former owners of the building. So maybe a building that was built 1,000 years ago, it had one purpose, and then it's reused for another purpose, and it's modified, and then it's modified again, and it's modified again over the years. So it becomes like a palimpsest with one layer on top of the other on top of the other. So yeah, it becomes a hodgepodge of different things. Or in archaeology, when you dig down into an ancient site, you will find the site has been used and used and used over centuries or even millennia, and there is one layer on top of another on top of another on top of another. Yeah, and the archaeologist has a different set of layers, and this is a palimpsest of the history of this place. I think you could also use this word, a palimpsest, talking about the shape of the land, because it's a palimpsest of all the things that have happened before. Maybe there was a volcanic eruption which makes one shape, and then people made a road, and people started living in the road and throwing their rubbish on the road. So it's one feature on top of another on top of another. You can also use this word to talk about a work of art which has maybe different types of style, one built upon the other, or it has different levels of meaning, one on top of the other. So the actress's performance was a palimpsest with different layers of understanding and interpreting her character. Okay, so it's something reused, something altered, but it still bears traces of its original form. Yeah, I think buildings are a very good example of palimpsests. Yeah, let's see, an example from Paul Auster. My skin had become a palimpsest of fleeting sensations, and each layer bore the impact of who I was. Okay, so one layer on top of another, and that's the idea, but each one has maybe some effect on the present. Okay, so a palimpsest. What about formality? This is a formal word, or if you use it in this metaphorical way, really rather literary. I'm going to give palimpsest I think I'm going to give it a 7.5, if not an 8 in formality. If you use it in an informal conversation in the pub, you're probably going to get people saying, "Do what?" Yeah, so be careful where you use it. I think you need to use it with people who are of a certain level of culture. Um, yeah, as I said, it sounds very literary if you use it metaphorically, and that's going to be very good. You could definitely use it in one of your CAE writings or Yelt's writing or something like that. And then as to origin, well, this word comes from ancient Greek, um, palimpsestos. Okay, palimpsestos, meaning scraped again. Yeah, I think the palim means again, and the psestos means to scrape. Yeah, okay, so to scrape again, yeah, you scrape it and you use it again, and that's the idea of a palimpsest. Okay, so one layer built on top of the other to make a whole, yeah? A sequence of history or things like that. Enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Palimpsest.